the very first play from scrimmage, the wing T team, they went and tried to catch them off guard, and it hurt them. I mean, they had great field position. They were coming back. They didn't have great field position. They just stopped them on a big drive. They got the ball, and then they turned it right back over, but they were able to hold them on defense as the field goal came in, and then they just added the touchdown to make it 10-0. Handoff from Towns goes to J.C. Christian. Christian takes it up across the 20 to the 22-yard line, but on fourth down, bring up fourth down, and we'll call it Woodstock for them to pick up, as it's a 21 yards with 5:06 to go here in the half. So they'll have to punt it away one more time as Gustavo Gomez handled a bad snap his last time, stands back inside his 10 at the 9-yard line. Brendan Langley deep along one, and a flag comes out. Looks like either a delay of game from the area it came from or an illegal substitution. Let's wait to see as the back judge comes all the way back from behind the returners at the 45-yard line of Kell to tell them what the penalty was, and it was an illegal substitution. And they'll pick up 5 yards, so they'll have a little bit better field position here, Joe. Instead of punting inside his 10, he'll move to inside his 15 right at the 14-yard line. Julian Burris stands on the far side, walking his way from about the 41 up to the 45. Brendan Langley right at midfield, in the middle of the field. Ball gets away from Gustavo Gomez. He gets it off, and they're going to pick up a roughing the punter, as they did not block the punt at all, and he was able to amazingly get the ball off, and it rolls inside Kell territory, but then he was just leveled as he kicked the ball away after another bad snap. Quincy Mauger hit him, and it is going to be a personal foul of Kell, and this should give the ball back on the automatic first down to Osborne.
That's really good for them, because even on that third down alone, they ran the ball, picked up a good yardage. So if they just start running the ball, even though this offensive line for Osborne is undersized, they're a scrappy bunch. They're coming out fighting, and they've been winning the line of scrimmage against this bigger Kell defense.
And you got to like to see the aggressiveness of Quincy Mauger, but you've got to stay under control. It's got to be controlled aggressiveness, because he just came in and he really didn't even go after the ball. He thought he was going to be able to tackle Gustavo Gomez, but he was able to somehow, as he was falling back, get that ball off, and he actually got a really good punt off, but then picks up the first down for his team, a special teams first down after taking the roughing the punter. First down and 10 from the 30. Handoff goes to J.C. Christian. Make that King Ishmael as he takes it up to the 34-yard line of the Cardinals. He's knocked down by Justin Sahogius of the Kell Longhorns.
That was another positive play. First down, you pick up 3 yards. The offensive line did a really good job of coming off, getting movement, and 3 yards to pop. You can't be upset with that as an offensive coordinator.
Kell up 10-0, but Osborne sticking around. One of the RBM emblematic keys to the game. They did not want to let this team stick around. We're 3:58 and counting till the first half. Looks like a broken play as Towns was trying to hand it off. Now he's got to use his speed to try to get outside, and he cannot, as Justin Sahogius, with his second tackle in as many plays, a flag comes down late at the 42-yard line, about 10 yards away from where the play was happening.
That was a really good job of Kell defense to just string him out, because you could tell he had the speed to take it to the end zone, but they strung him out, gave the other teammates opportunity to get there, and they were able to force him out of bounds.
Conference going on at about the 32-yard line on the hash mark. As trying to sort this one out, Coach Derek Cook is saying it's going to go against Osborne, and now as they march it off, it is, as it was a 15-yard personal foul, a little jostling going on, a little getting in the face at the end of the play there, Joe. They've got to keep their control. They've got to keep their composure, as they every time that they pick up some positive yards, they seem back another 10, 15 yards.
That wasn't smart at all. It was even after the play. The play was over and done with, walking back to the huddle. They can't do things like that if they want to win, and that's not the type of team you want to have also, because these young men got the opportunity to do something good here tonight, and they don't want to beat themselves.
Tim Harris in the slot, just outside of him, the key height. Shotgun formation for Jamani Towns. Towns running away from Michael Valero, and he just gets it off to J.C. down at the 10-yard line is where Christian is pulled down, but showing his athleticism is Jamari Towns, as Michael Valero, the tight end / defensive end, had him and was pulling him down, getting what close to looked like a sack for a safety, and he just flipped it to his fullback, J.C. Christian, at the last second, and he was able to gain about 3 yards, but it's still going to bring up a 4th down, and it's going to be 4th down and 30, so they'll have to punt this one from their own end zone, and a timeout called by Kell with 3:31 to go in the first half. While we have a moment, nearly 200 Georgia children have the opportunity to be on this field playing football tonight. For every one of these kids, there are dozens of others that don't get the chance to play because the equipment is too expensive. With the help of Good Sports, the youth of Georgia are getting that chance to play. Good Sports strives to give all kids the opportunity to play by putting brand new sports equipment into their hands. With our help tonight, Good Sports can give 200 more kids a chance to play tonight. At just $20 per child, how many kids can you give a chance to play tonight? Visit www.goodsports.org to donate today. So Gustavo Gomez, who will be punting for the 3rd time, the 2nd time he punted tonight, picked up a 1st down after he was roughed by Quincy Mauger of the Kell Longhorns. He'll punt just inside his own goal line. Standing back deep is Julian Burris, and it looks like a fair catch by the Kell Longhorns, and Brendan Langley is the man that'll make it in the middle of the field inside Osborne territory at the 34-yard line. So it's a 20-yard punt for Gustavo Gomez. A very, very good field position for the Kell Longhorns right now with 3:25 to go in the half, Joe.
They have a really good field position here, but it's important that Osborne defense continue to play hard. Just continue to keep your offense in the game by doing all you can to keep them out of the end zone right here on this drive.
Dodson in shotgun just to his left. Chris Gaines. Pressure coming from the backside. Picked up a great block by one of the offensive linemen. His takes it down inside the field on his feet, spins around, and is pulled down by 4 Cardinals, but not before we make it to the 25-yard line. But what a block by the left guard, Jordan Dwyer. Jordan Dwyer, younger brother Jonathan Dwyer, making a huge saving block for Clay Dodson as he was about to get blindsided.
He almost took Dodson's head off, but Jordan Dwyer gave him a life.
Taking the snap from center is Dodson in shotgun formation. He'll hand it off on the end around to Julian Burris. Burris stutter stepping, trying to find some room. Takes it down inside the 20 and spreads it out to the far side of the field all the way down to the 21-yard line. Picking up the 1st down. It'll be 1st and 10, 2:44 to go in the first half.
That was a great stop right there. Great opportunity to pick up the 1st down and keep the chains moving. This offensive line of Kell is doing a good job of pushing the defensive line of Osborne back into the linebackers.
A.J. Redwine back into the ball game. They fake the handoff to the first back. Now swing it out to Gaines, who goes out in the flats, takes it down inside the 20, 15, still on his feet, stutter steps inside the 10 to the 9-yard line. Marcus Gray, the cornerback, finally makes the tackle, but not before Kell picks up another 1st down. It'll be 1st and goal from the 9-yard line of the Osborne Cardinals. 2:21 to go in the half. They already lead 10-0 and threatening to pick up more.
I can see the skill position, all the skill athletes of Kell really starting to make big runs now because they realize these Osborne defenders aren't trying to tackle us. They're just trying to get in the way.
1st and goal from the 9. Dodson under center. Toss sweep left side, A.J. Redwine spreading it out and run out of bounds. And almost into the snare drum kit of the band as they start to make their way onto the field. The Osborne Cardinal may have hit it. He's rolling around in pain. They're going to say Redwine was knocked out at the 8-9-yard line now with just under 2 minutes to go. Up and heading back into the huddle. Looks like he's going to try to shake it off is Kai Wynn, as he ran headlong into the drum set. Now they're trying to move that all back. The Kell Longhorns band standing about 3 yards off the line. The officials now trying to push him back. Looks like the injured player getting looked at by one of the trainers over there as they move the band equipment about 8 yards off the field now. It was about 2 yards right on the field there and in a very dangerous location with the team down here. Dodson conducting traffic in the backfield. Now he has to call a timeout. He had the guys in almost like a split veer formation, and then he had to bring Redwine in a I formation, then looked over to his coach, Derek Cook, and he was saying, do I need to flip-flop them? What do I need to do? And he's like, well, I need to call timeout because time's running out. And so he does so with 1:57 to go in the half. They lead 10-0, but looking to score one more time as it'll be a second down and goal from the 8-yard line.
Size up the middle, they're really doing a really good job of making them, forcing them out and making stops. They aren't getting a lot of yardage up the middle where you think they would because Osborne is so on the side. So what Osborne do now is strengthen, making their outside guys. You got to make tackles. If you don't tackle, we don't have a chance. The guys in the middle are doing their job, so we need you to do yours to help us out because they're in this situation where they're making tackles in the backfield if they just wrap up, but they're missing tackles, and it's really hurting this defense because up the middle they're playing hard.
They must finish. One key to the game for Osborne. They must finish on defense. There has been their weakness. They've got to tackle. You heard Coach Xavier Smith say it. We have to tackle, tackle, tackle. Dodson under center, takes the snap. Rolling left, pressure coming. He loses the ball and falls on. Ball still loose. Now it looks like one of the offensive linemen finally got on top of it. But a perfect defensive play called by the defensive coordinator of the Osborne Cardinals, Coach Russell, as he had a man coming off the edge. They went with a play fake with Clay Dodson. Rolled out to his left, and right in his face was an Osborne Cardinal.
That's one of the defensive coordinator did a really good job of catching the offensive coordinator sleeping because they haven't been blitzing a lot all day. And Matthew Ramsey they did a corner blitz, and I've actually seen them practicing that yesterday in practice and came in untouched. And as soon as he did the play action, was right there in his face and caused a fumble. Kell got lucky to be able to get back on that ball.
Brendan Barber, the right guard, was able to get onto it. It looked like another one of the offensive linemen. I think it was Aris Mateus, but he had it almost go off of him, kicked it back over to Brendan Barber, and they fell on it right there. And now Coach Cook calls his final time out of the half as he doesn't like the sloppy play right now of his Kell Longhorns as they've fallen all the way back inside the 20 at the 19-yard line. They were first and goal from around the 12. They had a nice play that took it down inside the 9, but since that time they moved back, and it's going to be third and goal from the 19-yard line as Osborne breaks the huddle on the far sideline, comes out, and their defense looking to pick up a little the momentum, swing back to them. The defense showing doing a very good job here tonight, missing a few tackles, but when it comes time to stand up, they've been able to do so. Let's see what they do right here on third and goal from 19 yards out. Dodson brings some man in motion. That's Brendan Langley. Fakes to give to Langley. Pressure right up the middle. Dodson throws down the seam. Picked off by Tim Harris at the 5. Up to the 10. Turns on the speed. 25, 30, 40. Crosses midfield and nailed out of bounds at the 48-yard line of Kell. But an ill-advised throw with 4 defenders right there at the goal line by Osborne. And Dodson took a shot coming right up the gut from one of the linebackers, I believe. Didn't catch the number, but a huge hit on Dodson as he let it go. But Tim Harris showing the speed, turning on the Jets, and returning it 50 yards as he caught that right at the goal line. Give the credit to Alex Mealing, the middle linebacker, making the hit on him.
That's 2 blitz and 2 plays back to back, and they got positive plays for him. So, they got to put pressure on Dodson, on Clay Dodson, to give the team an opportunity to be successful. But this Osborne team is really exciting to watch. If they give you glimpses of.
Now Jamari Towns hands it off, has a man. Oh, he was kicking on the Jets at the 45, and it was just tripped up. We've got 2 players down, an Osborne Cardinal at the 49, and a Kell Longhorn who pops up. But there's looks like an offensive lineman. Yeah, it's a Wayne Aljo down, grabbing the lower back area at the 49-yard line on the right hash. Trainers come out to attend to him, but it was a nice gain there by a King Ishmael. Took it down inside the 45 all the way down to the 41-yard line before he was tripped up with 1:04 to go, and they came out right away trying to get a quick offensive strike after having that big defensive stand.
Really did. I'm telling you, just trust these offensive linemen. They're undersized, but they're really playing really well tonight. They're opening up holes, giving the runners opportunities to get positive plays. And that's really exciting. One thing I noticed, I'm thinking back to Thomas County Central days, sometimes you come out, have great plays, and you look like you never was coached. I can tell how frustrating it can be for these coaches who put so much time in and have guys show glimpses of excellence, and then 2 plays later they go back like they not coached by anyone.
Wayne Aljo up on his feet, heading back over the sidelines. He'll be replaced by Alex Mealing, the middle linebacker, who will come in, who just made that big hit on Clay Dodson. The ball is on the right hash, 42-yard line, just under a minute and counting, 57 seconds to go as Towns goes under his center, Corey Clay. All kinds of confusion as they pitch it back to Nikki Height. Height trying to find some running room. Almost loses his balance, but stays on his feet. Still cutting back inside in midfield. Loses almost 8 yards as he's taken down at midfield back to his own 45-yard line, but just the athleticism that he has was able to get it back to the line. It'll bring up 3rd down and 10, an ill-advised play call from the get-go there. It looked like it was a broken play. It almost looked like also that one of the offensive linemen may have moved early, and because Towns kind of lifted his foot, saying, like, I want to bring a man in motion. Nobody came, and then everybody fired off, and then somebody came. So it was almost like it was a play delayed about a second or two there.
It really was, and Fayez Dabdu did a really good job of getting through there, causing the corruption and turn it into a busted play because he did all he could. He got across the line of scrimmage, got in the backfield, and the play couldn't go as designed because he was there. So he did a good job of getting through the line of scrimmage and causing the problems for the Osborne offense on the last play.
So it'll be 3rd down and 10 with 37 seconds to go. The ball will be right at midfield, but you can see the athleticism that Coach Xavier Smith was talking about with Nikki Height and why University of Alabama, Birmingham loves this kid. He should have lost 12 to 15 yards, but just moving around, stutter step, keep going, keeping his balance. I mean, he was down about 6 inches from the ground to being down and was able to pick back up to where it's only a 3rd and 10. Towns will have to throw, rolls back, looking to set up a screen. They drop it off right at midfield. Flag goes down, and he's upended at the 46-yard line of Kell, but it looked like a flag, or maybe it was, holding. Flag disappeared inside the orange of the Longhorn, but it's going to be a holding on Osborne. So although they picked up 4 yards, the play, if Kell decides to take it, will push him back 10 yards, and it looks like they will do that. So it'll be 3rd down and 20 now for Osborne with 28 seconds to go in the first half. They trail 10-0, and they've just moved it into Longhorn territory, but now it's pushed all the way back inside of their own 40 to their 38. That'll be 3rd down and 20.
Kell showed everyone the athletic ability of their entire defense on the last play. They had a screen call with a blitz on and still was able to get them for a short gain.
Center all the way down to our near side on the right side as Towns takes the snap. Pump fake, pressure coming. Pulls it down, takes it up across the 40, at the 45, hit at midfield. He had to get out of bounds, but he could not get there. About 3 yards shy as the clock will run out on the first half with our score here at Cobb Energy Field at Longhorn Stadium. It's 10-0 Kell as that's how the end of the first half will go. And now let's throw it back to Steve West and the guys in the studio. Steve, take it away for the halftime show.
Thanks, Carl and Joe. 680 The Fans. Friday night high school football game of the week has reached halftime there at Kell High School as the Longhorns are on top of the Cardinals of Osborne 10-0 in this Region 5 North 4A matchup. Good evening. I'm Steve West. Good evening. I'm Steve West here in the studios in Sandy Springs, and of course joined by Chip Yagi and Kevin Harrell. And guys, a quick word from each of you about the first half of this football game. Really, you got to give it to Osborne for hanging in there. They made a nice defensive stand there right at the end of the first period, 4th and goal from the 2, and they hold them to a field goal. And then an interception here as Kell was driving into the Cardinal territory. So if Osborne had been able to mount anything offensively, or maybe possibly in the second half get something going offensively, this could be quite a surprising result here. I think 10-0 is a moral victory.
Yeah, and their coach was very concerned about being able to tackle. Well, Osborne's really held up on the defensive side of the football. They've done a great job against a Kell team that I saw firsthand 2 weeks ago, and a very good offense, a very talented offense. So you got to give it to Osborne, and that was a very critical error for Kell and a very big momentum shift for Osborne to be able to go into the locker room now just 2 scores instead of potentially 17 points. That's much more difficult to come back from, Kev.
Yes, definitely a moral victory for Osborne right now. 10-zip, I mean, they could easily be down 21-0 to Kell. Kell made some mistakes, like you mentioned, the interception late, right before the half. And it just sounds like Osborne's on a different level right now. Tonight, they're playing at a high level with the energy. The one thing that the coach had mentioned, Coach Smith, earlier was that can his players do it the whole game? So now we need to see if Osborne can make this happen second half.
10-0 Kell over Osborne on 680 The Fans Friday Night High School Football Game of the Week, Week 8 of the season. And our halftime show is coming up next. Mark Stolberger will be along with some early scores, as well as we'll go back out to Carl and Joe and have some interplay with them about the first half of this game. Don't forget, at the conclusion of tonight's game, 680 The Fans Friday Night High School Football Scoreboard Show. A special guest tonight, Coach Jim Shofity of the Dunwoody Wildcats, and a couple of his players are going to be talking some high school football for you. And don't forget, our game of the week next week, right here on 680 The Fan, will be Dunwoody and Marist. Mark Stolberger's coming up next. Also going to be going back out to Kell for some give and take with the guys. 10-0 Kell over Osborne at halftime on 680 The Fan's Friday Night High School Football Game of the Week. 680 The Fan, and now on FM at 93.7. Not going to want East Cobb County. The Longhorns of Kell on top of the Redbirds from Osborne. Halftime score 10-0. I'm Steve West, along with Kevin Harrell and Chip Yagi. Mark Stolberger will be along with some of the scores. And, of course, Greg Jordan doing a great job, as always, engineering the broadcast. Also doing a great job, as always, and back together tonight for the first time in a few weeks, our play-by-play man, Carl Worrell, and the former Georgia Tech and NFL great Joe Burns. Fellas, your thoughts on this first half of football there from Cobb Energy Field at Longhorn Stadium?
Well, we kind of set it out as saying could be a David versus Goliath matchup if Kell let the Osborne Cardinals hang in there, and that's exactly what they're doing. I mean, there was nothing going on in the first quarter as both of these teams stalled out on drives with interceptions right back to each other, and then Kell finally was able to drive it down, and with 11:56 in the second quarter, just starting the second quarter, able to pick up a field goal from Tyler Prince. That made it 3-0, and then after another turnover, Clay Dotson was able to hook up with Michael Valero for his first touchdown of the game, the tight end, and he just ran over 2 of the Cardinals to get into the end zone as he was able to pick it up and make it from 8 yards out to make it 10-0 as the extra point was good. And that's pretty much the scoring here, as it was pretty much a defensive struggle with a little bit of turnovers mixed in there to start the game and start the first half.
Joe, I know which side of this you've usually been on, having to play there for the great Thomas County Central program there. But in your career, you ever remember maybe a decided underdog kind of hanging around like this? I mean, Osborne's doing a decent job here. I'm surprised by the close score.
I really am too, but just by looking at the games they've had this season, they're turning their corner. Like, this is Coach Smith's first year here. You know, at my high school at Thomas County Central, we were the underdogs early on in our run with Coach Pilcher. But it just come together as a unity. And I see these young men out here playing hard, but they just got to tackle better. And what I'm really impressed with is the offensive line of Osborne. They're really playing hard. They're scrappy. They're all seniors. They have great leadership out there, and they're moving the ball. If this game stay close enough and Osborne have the ability to run the ball and aren't forced to pass, we might see something happen in the second half that shocks all of us.
Guys, they've got a really talented running back, linebacker there over at Kell. Jordan Chambers, number 33. We haven't heard his name much today. Is there an injury situation? Are you guys aware of anything? Or what's the status there?
Well, Chip, we're still trying to find out, but he came off the field after maybe the second or third play, but he didn't look like he was hurting or anything. And Coach Cook didn't say anything yesterday when we were talking in our interview. But if he's not on the field, I don't know if it's because, you hate to say it, that they're playing Osborne, and that if there is a minor injury, he doesn't want to escalate that. But he has not been playing in this game since probably the third play from the line of scrimmage.
And guys, one thing I was wondering, I know you spoke with Carl, and he talked about Clay Dodson, who stepped in for Kendall Crute back during that Hiram game. And I know he said that he was happy to have, dual threat. He's got two quarterbacks. But how was Clay doing tonight? I know he had the interception here late in the first half that got run back to about half midfield. But how was he performing overall so far this first half?
I think he was scheduled to be the starter, as Coach Cook said, coming into the season. Then he had an injury, and then Kendall was doing well enough for them to let him take the reins. But then like he said in the interview, they needed a little bit of a spark in that Hiram game, so they decided to put Clay in. And then the day after that, Kendall got hurt playing some basketball, like on a Sunday, and so he's got a little bit of an ankle injury. But Clay's been doing a good job for him. He's 5 of 7, 57 yards. He has the one touchdown to Michael Valero, but he does have the 2 interceptions. And one was probably a little bit ill-advised. The second one, I think, was caused by Alex Mealing coming right up the middle and hitting him pretty much square in the chest. Didn't have anywhere to follow through on his release, and the ball just fluttered up there. Granted, he was throwing in probably triple to quadruple coverage down at the goal line, so that might have been an ill-advised throw as well. But he's been calling the offense. He's been handing it off and doing a good job there. He did have that one fumble that he was lucky to have his offensive lineman get back on, but that was a good defensive call by the Osborne Cardinals, as they just sent a man coming off the edge, and he was hit as he turned around after going with a play action.
Hey, guys, it's kind of surprising, the results now 2 weeks in a row. Number one, after one half of football, how close this game is, but especially when you look at what Kell was able to do to, at the time, an unbeaten Pope team last weekend.
Yeah, and the thing I found out with the Kell playing Pope last week, I was stunned by that score, knowing that Pope has been coming up and being more of an up-and-coming program. But they were without their star quarterback, as he was out with a hand injury, as Holland Frost was out. So he didn't play one snap in that game, and I think that had a huge difference in there as well. But to see what they did last week against Pope to what's going on here, you almost have to wonder, Joe, you've been there, how much are they maybe overlooking this Osborne team? But they've got North Paulding in the next couple of weeks, and that's not a huge step up, saying like if you're going to be playing, say, Lassiter or Walton or somebody like that, to be overlooking. But the way Osborne's playing them, and I think, like you said, it may be just the way the defense of Osborne is stepping up. It's not they're overlooking. It's just they're outplayed right now.
Yeah, I think a lot of us haven't been giving Osborne the credit they deserve this year. They are playing not like the Osborne of old. They're really playing aggressive, and coaches are putting them in great situations to make the plays. And now if they can just turn the table and start making those plays in the backfield, tackle for loss, like by the end of the season, this Osborne team is going to be really good. But give them credit tonight. They're coming out, they've been aggressive. They're missing tackles, but they're making the big plays when they're presented to them and keeping their team in the game. And I think this is typical of all the teams Osborne have played all year. They're staying around in the game until the fourth quarter.
All right, fellas, great report at halftime from our game of the week, Kell and Osborne. We'll let you catch up there on your breath and get ready for the second half of our game of the week from Cobb Energy Field at Longhorn Stadium. And once again, the halftime score is Kell 10 and Osborne nothing. Don't go